Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video, we're covering Shivamon. Now, there's a lot of naysayers out there, so whether you're here because you're curious or because you're excited for the deck and you're just kind of wanting to know what I've got to bring for you guys, I hope I don't disappoint. I think this deck is very unique. It's very reminiscent of some older kind of green strategies, but instead of controlling our opponent's board by running over their monsters and doing piercing damage, instead we're just doing free security checks off of the Shivamon. So if you're not sure how this deck operates, let's go ahead and get into it. But first, got to do the obligatory shout out. This is our new memory marker for this month. This is Digimon, handmade out of clay, hand painted as well, all by my wife. Super adorable, very, very detailed. A great memory marker for any sort of Imperial or a Armor Rush deck that's going to be running some VMons this format. Great memory marker for that. You can find that on our Etsy page, link in the description below. Also there you can find all of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, as well as some of our Battle Ready Ink merch. Alright, so if you're not familiar with the overall strategy, the idea is basically the whole deck revolves around Shivamon. So opponent's turn, while all of your Digimon are suspended, your opponent can't use option cards. Now, specifically, this says opponent's turn. I know a lot of people have questions about, like, well, what about security options? Well, if you're swinging into security, it's your turn. It's not your opponent's turn. So, like, case in point, that's how, like, that should tell you plenty right there. Only on the opponent's turn, they can't use option cards, which for this format is pretty powerful, being able to turn off blue and all their hammer sparks, so that way they can't extend and go into, like, these crazy big plays, especially if they don't have a memory fixer on field. If you just repeatedly choke your opponent at 1 to 2 memory every single turn, that deck slows down tremendously without a memory fixer or the use of hammer sparks. So pretty neat ability there. Also, security control is very popular in this format. So this deck is a hard counter to security control. Like, straight up, this deck is very good against security control specifically. Also, during your turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So if you get multiple Shivamons and they all start using their ability, you just can melt through your opponent's security without actually triggering any of them. That's what I said about security control. Your opponent can't play any of their options on their turn, and then during your turn, you just get to free clear all their security without actually swinging in. Getting free tamers on board for them, getting free option triggers for them, shuts all of that down. So pretty powerful stuff here. So this is what the deck is themed around, so this is what we're going for. So for our baby here, we got Rapidmon. So when attacking once per turn, if you attack an opponent's Digimon, trigger draw 1. So the way we are suspending our Digimon is either through effects that suspend, or we're attacking into our opponent's Digimon. We prefer not to attack the opponent's security, just because that gives them free things, free tamers, free option plays, any sort of thing like that. So the idea is suspend your opponent's Digimon and then attack over them. So Rapidmon getting us some extra draws. Just the 4 Rapidmon, you could run a 5th because we do have the Mimis here, but I really like consistency of the Rapidmon. I guess just whatever baby you feel inclined to run. I'd run something with some DP buff personally. Pulsemon, a new BT8 card. All turns, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for each of your other suspended Digimon. This is a pretty important inheritable for this deck because it's both turns. So whether you're attacking or you're suspended on the defense, because you have to have all of your Digimon suspended to use your Shivamon, you have the chance of getting attacked over. So getting DP buffs that prevent you from getting attacked over is pretty important. So I really like the Pulsemon. He's probably like my go-to, I would say, inheritable that I would want underneath a Shivamon. We do have the Palmon also, though, that has the inheritable of when attacking. If you attack an opponent's Digimon, you get plus 2,000 DP. This is really good for your turn because Shivamon is at 12,000. So to get over things like Mastemon, you really need that plus 2,000 DP buff from the Palmon to swing over a Mastemon. So in that matchup, I would definitely try to get the Palmon underneath of the Shivamon there. But the Pulsemon can work pretty well too because 1,000 DP buff for each of your other suspended. So if you've got 2 other suspended Digimon, you know, that's basically a Palmon. And then also we're running the Terriermon, our memory blocker. I think memory blockers are still pretty solid for this format. We've got a lot of issues like blue with, again, all those hammer sparks we were talking about, but also hitting them in security, hitting Ice Wall in security, you know, all that memory gain. So just being able to turn all that off is very powerful. We don't need to necessarily go into, swing into security or anything like that, but it does come up. So yeah, just having a memory blocker, I think this format is very good. Also turns off like any sort of shenanigans that might involve what's his name, Cerberusmon werewolf mode. Just being able that's a huge thing right there. If you can turn off an entire card, like absolutely. But yeah, Terriermon's pretty solid, but we really like him because we can incorporate him with Rapidmon here. Rapidmon just being one of the best cards in all of BT8. I think he's probably up there as like possibly the best, because he's very good. So we've got Armor Purge. So if you're not familiar with that, it's just when he would be deleted, you can basically de-digivolve one, is how it works, and keep your Digimon on field, so it doesn't get deleted. So the Rapidmon goes away and the Terriermon stays on the field. So 3 Evo on the Terriermon, which we really like. And then when digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for each tamer you have in play. We have 6 tamers in the deck, so we can get a couple out on there pretty solidly. And then 3 of our opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP. Minus 5,000 DP is actually pretty massive in this format. Looking at armors, 2 of the 3 Vmon armors are 5,000 DP on your turn. So that's instant total deletion because they'll armor release, and then the DP minus stays on the Vmon, which will then also delete the Vmon. So like Rapidmon is a very good counter card to Armor Rush, and Armor Rush being a very popular deck, it seems, in this format, pretty solid. But also that minus 5,000 DP, you can do that on a suspended target. That's a mega, and if it's 11,000 DP or less, Rapidmon can take it down, whether through crashing or for just swinging over it. So that Rapidmon pretty good. The versatility there is very nice, whether you're flat out deleting something or you're lowering it enough to swing over it with the Rapidmon. Both very, very good choices for sure. Next we got Exermon, another new BT8 card here. I debated going with a couple different things here. For the level 4s, I think the level 4 is where it really got to be the most the part of the deck where you could get the most like difference in how you want to build. So when digivolving, you may suspend one of your Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. I like Exermon for like mid game, right? If I've already got a Shivamon on field, I can go Exermon on top of some rookie that I promoted up out of raising area and suspend itself, and then also suspend the one of my opponent's Digimon that's a target for Shivamon then to attack and run over. So the Exermon then being suspended will hopefully give Shivamon some sort of DP buff off of like the Pulsemon possibly. So yeah, he's just a good solid utility card for enabling plays mid-game. And then also the inheritable of all turns, while this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for each of your other suspended Digimon. So again, same thing as the Pulsemon there. Doing some really cool shenanigans, I think, here. So or really good combo plays with the Shivamon, just giving it nice DP buffs to then swing over stuff. So, good for a good inheritable under your Shivamon early game, or mid game, that when digivolving effect is pretty solid too. And then the last one, I went a little off the cuff on this one. I went with Roachmon. 3 play cost level 4. Getting into our megas sometimes can be super important. Look at our level 5s though. This is the most interesting part. We've got Digisorption on all of them. Okay, if you're not familiar with the new one, Pismon, he also has Digisorption. His is only -2 though, instead of the full -3. But in theory, if you have a memory fixer on field, you can hard play Roachmon, Digisorption himself for -3, go into your level 5, and then immediately Evo into a Shivamon on top of that level 5, that suspended level 5, that Digisorption. You can go Shivamon to pass turn. Shivamon's already suspended. Perfect. Roachmon just kind of made a lot of sense to me. That 3 play cost was actually pretty solid with a memory fixer. And assuming you have a Blossomon or an Argomon to combo with him and to go into your Mega. So yeah, pretty, I like it. I like it. I think it's very, very cheeky and pretty clever. In the match video earlier this week, we had a new one that was 4 play cost, and he could suspend himself to like do like a green memory boost kind of search. But I really like the Roachmon with that 3 play cost, and the Digisorption level 5s just felt really, really good. So yeah, Blossomon here, Digisorption 3, so -3 on the Evo for it. Same with the Argomon here. Argomon is a little bit better, but at the same time, it is limited to 1. Now this DP actually could be a little bit important. Maybe, because 6,000 DP or less, Pyldramon can bottom deck. So a Blossomon, Pyldramon cannot bottom deck with his DNA Digivolve effect, so that's just kind of interesting. Also, the Argomon, when attacking, you may play 1 level 3 green Digimon card from your hand suspended without paying its memory cost. That's actually pretty relevant for this deck, because bringing in suspended combos with our Shivamon, combos with our Pulsemon and Exermon and Heritables, so instant huge buff with the Shivamon. So you can swing in with the Shivamon, use the Argomon to play out a rookie suspended, and boom, you just gave yourself a 2k DP buff. That's pretty cool. Argomon pretty awesome in this deck, really, truly. If I don't think this card deserves to be limited to 1 still. Like, we're so far past when this card was relevant back in BT2. This card could definitely come off the limited list, I think. Like, it's good in Shivamon, but Shivamon isn't like a menace in the format or anything like that. Next, we got Pistamon here. Just another new level 5 Digisorption. Only 2, though, so, with that 1,000, or that is still like 1 Evo cost at that point, but has the inheritable. Again, all turns this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for each of your other suspended Digimon, so you can get some like really massive DP buffs, not just on the Shivamon, but you're assuming that you either have 2 Shivamons on field, or a Shivamon in like a level 4 that's getting ready to do something, so you're in theory have multiple things all getting DP buffs through the Pulse, the Exer, and the Pistamon here. Lots of good stuff. And then Shivamon, which we already went over, the very fundamental stuff there. And then for our secondary mega, I went with Nidhogg. We do kind of run into the issue of if we can't control our opponent's board and it gets out of hand, we need to clear it. If we can't, whatever the case may be, if it's like a really big Digimon that we just cannot get off the field, whether it be a Mastamon that's got like, Magna Angemon DP buff going on underneath it, like giving it, a +1, +2k, whatever it is, DP buff, and our Shivamon can't clear it, sometimes you just got to go into a Nidhoggmon, assume that Mastamon is swung, and boom, drop Nidhoggmon, and go ahead and just bottom deck that Shivamon. Just a good, just back, like, just card to have. Like Shivamon, we just want to get as many Shivamons on field as possible, but in the case where we can't and we desperately need to clear something, Nidhogg is great. If you're not familiar, having a memory fixer on field, promote up a level or a rookie at a raising. You can go 2 Evo, level 4 on top of it, Digisorption into one of your level 5s. It's still your turn, and then you can drop a Nidhoggmon suspended to pass turn and clear the field. So Nidhogg, very powerful card. Next, we got Izzy here. Another great combo piece in this deck. Your turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. Only a two play Evo or 2 play cost, pretty low. But think about all the stuff we've got triggering these Izzies here. Multiple Izzies is insane in this deck. Rapidmon will suspend your opponent's Digimon. Exermon will suspend your opponent's Digimon. Our option card down here will suspend your opponent's Digimon. Like, we've got a decent amount. Nidhogg will suspend your opponent's Digimon. We've got a decent amount of stuff that's like pretty reliable that we should go into every single game, and Izzy will just get tons of value, I think, out of this whole strategy here. Lots of different things that we got going on that Izzy really benefits for the deck. And then also Mimi, which is our memory fixer for the deck, also gives us an extra like hatching raising phase, which is never not a bad thing. Mimi up there with Davis being the best memory fixer in the game, arguably the best tamers in the game. Both of them are like above and beyond what a lot of other tamers do. And then, so this is a new one here, Samadhi Santi. And so one play cost, you may suspend one of your Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Your opponent's cards suspended with this effect can't unsuspend until the end of their next turn. So, like, this is a great one. Again, just talking about those big, like, megas or level 7s that you just can't deal with. You can just go ahead and play the Samadhi Santi here and suspend, like, your Shivamon and suspend that past turn. Yeah, and you don't have to worry about that big scary thing being able to attack over your Shivamon or attack you and do any damage. It's just a great, just kind of stun card for the turn, really. And it sets up your Shivamon, make sure your Shivamon gets triggered without having to, it's like, okay, Shivamon can't swing over that. I guess I got to risk a swing into security. I really don't want to do that. What can I do here? So some really good combinations of things going on with this card. I think it's very, very powerful. Pretty solid card overall. Also has a security effect of suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. So that's pretty awesome. It's very green themed of having a security effect that suspends one of your opponent's Digimon. So I really like this card. It's pretty neat for this deck. And then just kind of rounding it out, we got the green memory boost just to help our consistency out. Again, we want to get multiple Shivamons on field. Once you get like 2 Shivamons, like that's a ticking time bomb on your opponent. Like they literally have about 2 turns roughly to do something, because that's what is that? The first turn, they're going to both of them unsuspend, clears 2. The second turn, they unsuspend, they clear 2 more. Your opponent's down to 1. One attacks into security, clears that last one, and then the other one attacks. So literally in 2 turns of 2 Shivamons being on field, you close out the game. So green memory boost, just kind of making sure we can get into those plays. I think is great. So a memory fixer on field, you can get all the way up into a mega with a rookie and raising area, and Mimi on field, you can go all the way up into a mega and have a suspended Shivamon on field. Like, this deck just feels right. It just feels perfect. Digisorption level 5. That's like the key, though, is Digisorption level 5 is fundamentally like a big part of this whole thing. You got to be able to keep your stuff suspended, but also, being able to attack your opponent's Digimon and things like that, being able to clear them off the field is also pretty important. So you just got to play that balancing act of when to Digisorption, when not to, that sort of thing. Overall, though, the deck feels really solid. It might not be the best. It might not be able to, stop anything that gets promoted at a raising area. That's where this deck falls off short, is any deck that is going to promote up out a raising area that you can't control is going to be a menace, or hard playing and then DNA digivolving, that sort of thing. So just be warned, it's not like the end-all be-all. I think it'll definitely have its challenges against Armors and Pyldramon. Unsure about Mastamon, though. Mastamon, it could have a good matchup against Mastamon, but it has the best matchup against Security Control. So Yellow Hybrid, this deck really shuts down Yellow Hybrid pretty solidly. So I do like that about it a lot. So if you have a big Yellow Hybrid menace in your locals, definitely come check this deck out.